truly an honor to be here once again, especially in a remarkable gathering with outstanding business leaders who are at the leading edge of driving economic growth and progress in the southern region of our archipelago. And for this, I thank you for the opportunity. I know you just wrapped up your elections earlier today, and with the results still as fresh as the first light of dawn, I'd like to offer first a few insights about elections in general. By definition, as we all know, an election is a fundamental democratic process that is designed to reflect the will of the people, a way to ensure that the designated power comes from the voice of the governed. Throughout history, this process, whether in the public or private arena, has sparked a wide range of narratives, varied as they are vivid. In fact, we can all agree that some of the brightest and darkest chapters in our collective story have been written in the wake of elections. Still fresh in the global arena is the recently concluded election in the United States of America. While I would not dare ask Ed and those concerned among the guests today whom they cast their vote for or whom they may have wished to be hailed as the next president, suffice it to say that millions of Americans have clearly made their voices heard. In a sweeping way, 31 states painted the US map red, equivalent to 312 electoral votes out of the 538 electoral votes, thus securing Donald J. Trump's victory over Vice President Kamala Harris, as the former ascends once more to the highest office as the 47th President of the United States. Like citizens in many other nations, we Filipinos have likewise paid attention to the selection of the next leader of the free world. Because whether Filipinos like it or not, to some extent, the fate of our own nation is intertwined with that of the US. The outcome of the election in America has an impact on our country being a developing nation. The recent US presidential campaign was uniquely different for many reasons. For one, it was intense, unfriendly, at times hostile and dramatic, marked by personal attacks and two failed assassination attempts of then candidate Donald Trump. Meanwhile, back here at home, almost halfway into the 6-year term of the present administration, we're witnessing a political turmoil unfold which more than 2 years ago no one would have imagined, except maybe those who were hoping that the honeymoon or bond, if you will, of two strong political allies will weaken or crack and disengage the friendship between the two highest elected officials of our country. While the perennial warmongers, whose pastime is to make their day complete with their passion for gossips and entertainment, be it between showbiz couples or political allies resulting in intense conflict and their eventual irreconcilable separation. The majority among us who are sober and conserved and discerning feel sad and concerned how this development could affect the future of our country. We must all bear in mind that the great Singaporean leader Lee Kuan Yew once said, and I quote, "When elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers." Going back to the main topic of this gathering, as President-elect Trump returns to power, we remain positive that our nation's trade and investment will continue to become stronger in the coming years. In 2023 alone, it was estimated that we had at least 34 billion US dollars worth of goods and services traded. In the years ahead, we are filled with hope that the U.S. will remain our largest export market and source of foreign investment. We source our confidence from organizations like yours, the American Chamber of Commerce, which since 1902 has remained committed to its goal of championing the interests of the Philippine and American businesses in our country. Your great work is truly a testament to the deep and enduring partnership of our nations. I'm sure that we are all eager to see how Mr. Trump's policies will play out, particularly in the maintenance of balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region, especially with China's continued aggression on disputed territorial waters in the South China Sea. We are eager to see how these foreign policies will shape or reshape our standing in asserting our claims in the West Philippine Sea. After all, we have to remember that it was during the Trump administration when the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty was reaffirmed, considering the South China Sea situation, one that a foreign policy analyst described being done in a more sort of forceful fashion. The long chapters of our shared history are the testament to the deep and strong alliance of Manila and Washington over the decades. Their partnership embedded in the roots of our nations reflects a shared commitment to promoting peace and stability, meaningful progress, and the spirit of democracy. Come next year, in May 2025, the Filipino people will again be entrusted with the power to decide on the future of our nation through the election of the members of our national and local legislatures and the chief executives of our various local government units. For the past 2.5 years, I have found myself in the comfort of a new rhythm that I have chosen for myself, one that I have never done before. I have begun to enjoy the slow-paced days, that pleasant feeling from the simple and serene life in my small farm in my home province of Cavite is definitely a breather for somebody who has spent most of his life attending to the call of duty and service to the nation. The warm touch of the morning sun with the fresh breeze of air is undeniably far from the constant rush I was once accustomed to. For the first time in my life, I was able to spend more time for myself and for my family. But I need to admit that on my quiet days, I have also come to ask myself, and am I truly ready to leave behind the life that I was so dedicated to? Do I feel better looking after myself and mindful of the problems besetting our beloved country? As I sought the answer, I have come to realize that helping to solve the many challenges that our country continues to face is a lot harder from the outside. This was the reason why on October 2, 2024, I filed my certificate of candidacy for senator before the Commission on Elections. I say this with utmost humility. Should I be given the honor of returning to the Senate, I pledge to remain steadfast in my commitment to the Filipino people. My dedication will be as relentless as ever on being a watchdog of our national budget and resolutely combating the corruption that continues to hinder our nation's progress. As I have consistently upheld in all my personal and professional life, my credo remains: what is right must be kept right. What is wrong must be set right. Earlier, I mentioned that nice feeling of hope and optimism toward better days ahead as a new chapter in our nation's strong ties beckons. May that same feeling of hope and optimism be our guide as we strive for a greater and brighter future. Again, allow me to thank the American Chamber of Commerce Mindanao chapter for having me here today. Mabuhay AmCham! Mabuhay ang